The world is loud. Everyone's reacting. Everyone's emotional. Everyone's distracted. But not you, not anymore. Because you're about to reprogram your mind into something most people will never master: relentless focus and emotional neutrality. You'll stop being pulled by feelings and start being powered by discipline. Emotional detachment isn't apathy, it's clarity. It's how high performers win in chaos. Calm mind, sharp focus, zero reaction. This is how you take back control and become mentally unshakable. Chapter 1. Reprogram or be programmed. You have a choice: to run your mind or to let it run you. Every day, your brain executes a code. You don't see it. You don't question it. But it runs everything: your focus, your emotions, your reactions, your future. That code was written by repetition. Years of inputs from fear, failure, opinions, and noise. You didn't choose most of it. It was installed by your parents, by your culture, by your environment, by your habits. You've been programmed to react, not to respond, to consume, not to create, to survive, not to master. That's the truth most people never face. Their mind is on autopilot, and the default setting is distraction. But you're here to rewrite the code. You're here to reprogram. Because if you don't, someone else will. You have a choice: reprogram or be programmed. That's the key. Every mind runs loops. Every thought becomes instruction. Every reaction reinforces the pattern. You get triggered, you react, you regret. Stimulus, reaction, regret. That's the old program. That's the virus. Now it's time to install the new one. Stimulus, awareness, control. That's the upgrade. That's the shift from chaos to command. You can't control the world. You can control the code that runs your mind. That's how high performers live. Not by avoiding stress, but by mastering response. Not by being emotionless, but by being emotionally neutral. Not by being lucky, but by being programmed for precision. Your mind is not a mystery. It's a machine. And machines obey code. You write that code through repetition, through what you allow, what you repeat, what you feed. Every scroll is a line of code. Every thought you accept becomes an instruction. Every word you say becomes a command. You have to start auditing the code. Ask yourself, who programmed my focus? Who programmed my beliefs? Who benefits from my distractions? Because if you don't control input, you can't control output. Most people spend their lives debugging symptoms instead of fixing the source. They blame emotions, habits, luck, but never look at the underlying code. You don't fix the symptom. You rewrite the system. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control what happens, but you can control the code that determines how you process it. That's the first rule of reprogramming: awareness. Awareness is the debugger. You can't change what you don't notice. So start noticing the loops. Notice when you react. Notice when you spiral. Notice when you repeat what you said you'd stop doing. Every awareness is a window into your code. The next rule is interruption. When you feel the impulse to react, pause. That pause breaks the pattern. That pause is power. You don't need to solve it instantly. You just need to stop the automatic response. That's how you start reprogramming, one pause at a time. You have a choice: to repeat the same emotional loops or to interrupt them. The old mind says, "This is who I am." The new mind says, "This is what I choose." That's reprogramming. And it's not about perfection. It's about pattern interruption. Because every time you break one reaction, you weaken the entire old system. Every time you pause instead of explode, your brain rewires itself for control. That's neuroplasticity, your mind's ability to change itself through awareness and repetition. You don't need permission to change. You just need consistency. You have to understand, every thought trains your brain. Every repetition strengthens a pathway. And most people spend decades strengthening the wrong ones. They rehearse anxiety. They repeat self-doubt. They perfect procrastination. They've been programming themselves to fail. But you can reprogram yourself to win by repetition in the opposite direction. Instead of repeating fear, repeat focus. Instead of repeating emotion, repeat execution. Instead of repeating doubt, repeat data. What's real, what's measurable, what's useful. That's how mental mastery begins. Your thoughts are not commands unless you obey them. Your emotions are not instructions unless you act on them. Your environment is not destiny unless you surrender to it. You have a choice, every second, to obey old code or to install new patterns. And every choice compounds. This is how you start. 1. Audit the inputs. Cut the noise. Delete the distractions. Choose what enters your awareness like a gatekeeper. 2. Rewrite the reactions. When emotion rises, don't react, redirect. Use the energy to observe, not obey. 3. Repeat the command. Every morning, repeat your new code. Calm, focused, in control. Say it. Mean it. Install it. Because your brain learns through repetition, not inspiration. That's the secret. It's not about feeling different. It's about doing different until your brain catches up. You reprogram through consistent command, not emotional desire. You want to change your life? Change your code. And that begins by choosing your inputs. Your phone, your friends, your thoughts, all of them are programmers. If they don't sharpen your focus, they're dulling it. If they don't build your peace, they're breaking it. Protect your mind like it's sacred ground, because it is. Every idea planted in it will grow. And if you don't plant purpose, the world will plant confusion. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control every event, but you can control how your system processes it. You can't stop chaos, but you can stop contagion. You can't rewrite the world, but you can rewrite your mind. That's your responsibility. That's your freedom. Reprogramming is not theory. It's training. It's repetition. It's ritual. It's reality. Every time you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself, this is just code running. Old code. Not truth, just habit. And habits can be rewritten. Say it. I control my input. I control my code. I control my mind. That's your new foundation. You don't need to erase your past. You just need to overwrite it. New code replaces old code automatically, if you repeat it long enough. That's why this process works. Not because it's motivational, but because it's mechanical. Your brain obeys commands. Your repetition is the language it speaks. You have a choice to run old software, emotional, reactive, distracted, or to upgrade into precision, focus, and calm control. You're no longer the product of your environment. You're the engineer of your mind. And once you control your programming, everything changes: your focus, your mood, your results, your reality. Because the outer world always mirrors the inner system. Fix the code, and the world responds. That's the essence of this journey, building a brain that obeys your mission, not your emotions. You've taken the first step. You've opened the system. You've begun to rewrite. Now it's time to build the next layer: emotional detachment, the firewall that protects your focus from chaos. Chapter 2. Detach to direct. You have a choice: to be ruled by emotion or to be guided by control. That's the key. Emotional detachment is not apathy, it's accuracy. It's not coldness, it's clarity. When you detach, you stop being the passenger and start being the pilot. You stop reacting to the storm and start flying above it. That's the difference between the emotional and the effective. One burns out, the other breaks through. You have to learn to detach, to direct your energy, not drown in it. Because emotion is not the enemy. It's just untrained power. Left unchecked, it consumes you. Controlled, it creates you. Emotion moves fast. Focus moves deliberately. And that's why detachment matters. It slows you down just enough to think. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control how you feel instantly, but you can control what you feed those feelings. You can control what you do next. That's where strength is built, not in suppression, but in selection. Emotional detachment means you choose what deserves your energy. You stop trying to control everything, and you start mastering yourself. Most people live like open circuits. They absorb every signal, every insult, every opinion, every fear. They wonder why they're exhausted. It's because they have no filter. They've never learned the firewall of focus. You must build it, because without detachment, your focus bleeds into chaos. You have a choice every second. React or redirect. Respond or reset. Reactivity is emotional slavery. Detachment is emotional sovereignty. That's the mindset of elite performers. Calm under chaos, composed under fire. They're not emotionless. They're engineered. A Navy SEAL feels fear but acts on training. A surgeon feels pressure but operates with precision. A leader feels stress but speaks with clarity. That's detachment. Emotion observed, not obeyed. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't fold. You can cry and still conquer. You can hurt and still perform. You can care and still control yourself. Because control is not denial, it's direction. You have a choice: to let emotion dictate your discipline, or to let discipline direct your emotion. That's how you rise. Here's what you do. Step 1. Observe without ownership. When emotion hits, don't say, "I'm angry." Say, "Anger is here." The shift in language separates identity from feeling. You are not your emotion. You're the one watching it. That space is control. That's your power. Step 2. Label and locate. Name the emotion. Where does it live in your body? Tight chest. Racing heart. Awareness turns fog into data. Data can be directed. Step 3. Redirect energy. Channel emotion into focus. Anger into output. Fear into preparation. Sadness into depth. That's emotional alchemy, turning chaos into clarity. You don't have to fight emotion. You have to format it. Reprogram it into something useful. That's the process. Observe, name, redirect. Simple, repeatable, powerful. Because repetition rewires response. The goal isn't to eliminate feeling. The goal is to separate feeling from functioning. You can feel deeply and still move deliberately. That's detachment. Emotion should inform you, not control you. Emotion is data, not direction. Use it as feedback, not as fuel for failure. When you detach, you begin to see the mechanics of your mind clearly. You see patterns, triggers, tendencies. And awareness replaces chaos. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control that emotions arise. You can control how long they stay. You can't control what people say. You can control whether it enters your system. That's what detachment trains: emotional minimalism. You stop renting space in your head to things that don't deserve it. You stop negotiating your focus for temporary feelings. That's freedom, not from emotion, but from overreaction. Detachment doesn't make you robotic. It makes you reliable. It makes you consistent. It makes you clear. Because clarity outperforms intensity every time. People think high performance is about passion. It's not. It's about precision. Passion gets you started. Detachment keeps you stable. That's the equation. Emotion fuels. Detachment directs. Discipline sustains. Repeat it. Fuel. Direct. Sustain. You have to reprogram your default reaction. When tension hits, your first command should be pause. Don't speak. Don't type. Don't act. Pause. Let emotion expose itself fully, then decide. That pause is the bridge between chaos and control. It's the difference between the reactive and the relentless. It takes strength to stay still while the world shouts at you. It takes mastery to stay calm while your mind screams for release. That's what you're building, emotional endurance. Because anyone can stay composed and calm. But composure in chaos? That's elite. You have to train for it. Train through small triggers daily. Traffic, delay, disrespect. Each is a drill. Each is a chance to practice detachment. Because emotional neutrality is not a switch, it's a skill. And every moment of control installs a new pattern in your brain. That's neuroprogramming through experience. The more you practice staying calm, the faster calm becomes automatic. The more you detach, the deeper your focus becomes. The deeper your focus, the more unstoppable you become. This is not about killing emotion. It's about controlling the channel it travels through. It's about deciding when to listen and when to lead. That's mastery. Repeat after me. I don't react. I respond. I don't obey emotion. I direct it. I don't chase calm. I create it. That's your new code. You don't need to prove your peace. You need to practice it. Because peace practiced daily becomes presence. And presence under pressure is rare. It's power. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control emotion's arrival, but you can control whether it stays long enough to destroy focus. You can't control the storm, but you can become the eye within it. That's emotional detachment, calm clarity in chaos. You're no longer defined by what you feel. You're defined by how you function. Emotion reacts. Discipline directs. Emotion drains. Focus sustains. You have a choice. Every thought, every hour, every test to react or to rise. And when you choose detachment, you choose dominance. Because when nothing controls you emotionally, everything becomes controllable strategically. That's how professionals move. That's how warriors lead. That's how you become mentally neutral and mechanically precise. You've learned to detach. Now you need to harden that clarity into a system, a structure that defends your focus daily. Chapter 3. Delete distraction. Install discipline. You have a choice. To stay distracted and drift, or to delete and direct. That's the key. Distraction is not harmless. It's a thief, silent, constant, efficient. It steals time, energy, and identity one notification at a time. You think you're in control. You're not. You're being managed by algorithms, by impulses, by noise. The modern mind is not free. It's hijacked, but you can take it back by deleting distraction and installing discipline. Because focus is not something you find. It's something you build. And you build it by subtraction, not addition. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control how loud the world gets, but you can control how much you listen. You can't control the constant pull of dopamine, but you can control when you give it permission. You can't control the storm, but you can close the window. That's discipline, the act of conscious disconnection from chaos. You have to stop thinking of discipline as punishment. Discipline is freedom in structure form. It's the system that protects your potential from leaks. Because distraction is a virus, and every unchecked habit is an open port. You scroll once, you scroll again, you scroll forever. Each click rewards the brain with dopamine, and dopamine rewards distraction. That's how the loop begins. That's how potential dies. You have to break the loop. And the only cure is awareness and deletion. Here's how. 1. Audit your inputs. Every sound, sight, and scroll shapes your code. Ask yourself daily, what did I feed my brain today? Was it clarity or chaos? Was it progress or poison? The content you consume becomes the code you execute. You can't think like a leader while consuming like a follower. You can't build like a creator while scrolling like a consumer. That's the first rule of focus. Guard the gate. Every platform is fighting for your attention. Every app is a casino for your dopamine. You're not the customer, you're the product. And your attention is the currency. So stop spending it carelessly. Withdraw it. Invest it in something that compounds: skills, silence, strategy. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the noise, but you can control your notifications. Turn them off. All of them. Every vibration is a trigger. Every alert is an attack. You don't owe the world instant access to your mind. Silence the feed. Reclaim the focus. 2. Design a distraction-free environment. Your environment is programming you constantly. It can either automate discipline or automate decay. Look around your space right now. Every object either reminds you of your mission or your weakness. Clean it. Simplify it. Order your space, and your mind follows. Create physical signals that align with focus. One desk, one goal, one tool. Minimalism is not aesthetic. It's tactical. Less objects, less options, more output. You can't think clearly in chaos, and you can't execute precision surrounded by clutter. Your space is not decoration, it's direction. Every time you look at your environment, it should say one thing: focus. The disciplined don't rely on willpower. They rely on design. Because environment beats emotion every time. That's how you install discipline, by making focus automatic. 3. Replace impulse with ritual. You don't delete habits, you replace them. You don't erase distraction, you overwrite it. The mind hates a vacuum. Remove one dopamine source, and it'll search for another. You must fill that void intentionally, with structured ritual. Wake early. Breathe. Move. Right? Plan. Same sequence. Same rhythm. Same calm command. That's how you condition your focus. That's how you replace reactivity with reliability. Every ritual is a line of code in your discipline system. The more you repeat it, the stronger the program becomes. Because discipline is not motivation. It's automation. You have to rewire your brain until focus becomes instinct. Repeat after me. I don't check my phone. I check my mission. I don't chase dopamine. I create momentum. I don't need noise. I need direction. That's your new code. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control urges, but you can control access. You can't stop every distraction, but you can starve it. You can't silence the world, but you can build walls around your focus. That's the real digital discipline, creating distance between impulse and execution. Every tab you close is a reclaiming of energy. Every app you delete is a declaration of control. Every notification you disable is a return of peace. This is not small. This is sacred, because every micro-distraction compounds into macro failure. And every micro-discipline compounds into macro-mastery. You have to decide which system you're running. React and regret, or control and conquer. You have a choice. Delete or delay. Focus or fragment. That's why most people stay mediocre. They're too distracted to notice they're distracted. They think movement equals progress. It doesn't. Real progress is deliberate. Real execution is silent. Real discipline is invisible. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to reprogram yourself. And that happens in quiet repetition, not loud reaction. Discipline means you show up even when no one's clapping. It means you execute even when no one's watching. It means you repeat even when emotion fades. Because emotion fades. That's what it does. And that's why discipline exists, to keep the system running when motivation dies. You have a choice every day, to feed distraction or to train attention. Feed distraction, and your focus decays. Train attention, and your mind evolves. That's the algorithm of mastery. Delete what drains. Install what directs. Repeat until permanent. You're not just building focus, you're building identity. Because disciplined people don't act disciplined. They are disciplined. It's who they become through repetition and restraint. You can become that. The moment you decide that every click, every scroll, every thought has a cost, you'll start budgeting your attention like it matters. Because it does. It's the currency of your potential. Don't waste it. Don't trade it cheap. Protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the world's chaos, but you can code your focus. You can't control the pace of others, but you can accelerate your own. You can't control the noise, but you can master your signal. That's how you delete distraction. That's how you install discipline. And once you do, something changes. Your mind becomes quieter, your actions sharper, your direction undeniable. You've built structure. You've built strength. Now it's time to protect both through precision under pressure. Chapter 4. Master the pause, the 2-second rule. You have a choice: to react instantly or to rule intentionally. That's the key. Power doesn't come from speed. Power comes from control. The most dangerous mind in any room is the one that can pause. Because reaction is reflex. Response is strategy. Every argument, every impulse, every mistake that ruins focus begins the same way. Instant reaction. No space. No thought. No control. You speak too soon. You act too fast. You regret too long. That's the loop you're here to break. It takes 2 seconds to save your peace. 2 seconds to protect your energy. 2 seconds to keep your focus intact. That's the 2-second rule. It sounds simple. It's not. Because it demands awareness. It demands control under pressure. It demands the courage to pause when your ego wants to explode. But it's the difference between emotional chaos and mental command. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the trigger. You can control the timing. You can't control the insult. You can control the interval. You can't control the chaos. You can control the calm that meets it. That's mastery. Not avoiding reaction, but owning the delay between feeling and acting. You have a choice every time emotion surges. Will you feed it, or will you filter it? The weak feed it. The strong filter it. The pause is the filter. That pause is where the reprogramming happens. Between impulse and instruction, between noise and decision. In those 2 seconds, you reset the system. You tell your brain, we don't react anymore. We respond. That's how you rewrite the code in real time. Because the brain learns through repetition, but it rewires through interruption. Each pause interrupts the old pattern. Each pause reinforces the new one. That's why it's so powerful. Every pause is a micro-victory, a small act of defiance against old programming. You're no longer a slave to impulse. You're a strategist in motion. This is how high performers operate. They pause before they speak. They breathe before they act. They measure before they move. Because reaction burns time and energy. Response multiplies both. The 2-second rule turns emotion into data. In that moment, you feel the emotion, but you don't obey it. You let it expose itself, then decide what to do with it. That's how you detach and direct simultaneously. You have to train for this. It won't happen by accident. Every day, there will be moments, traffic, tension, disrespect, delay. Use them. They are drills. They are tests. They are training. 2 seconds. That's all you need. Pause. Breathe. Recalibrate. In those 2 seconds, you've broken the cycle. The old program screams, react. The new code whispers, wait. And in that wait, the power shifts. Because the one who reacts first loses. They give control away. They trade composure for chaos. But the one who pauses first wins. They redirect energy into clarity. They dictate the tone. They control the game. That's the power of delay. You have a choice: to play defense with emotion or offense with awareness. You can't win both. The pause gives you perspective. It allows you to see the full board while others are still playing checkers. That's how you start moving differently, slower at first, then sharper, then unstoppable. Repeat after me. I don't react fast. I react right. I don't rush emotion. I regulate it. I don't speak to prove. I speak to move. That's your code now. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't stop emotion's arrival, but you can control its travel time. You can't stop the noise, but you can decide when to answer. You can't stop pressure, but you can meet it on your terms. That's mental efficiency, to think clearly while others drown in emotion. The 2-second rule is not hesitation. It's calculation. You're not delaying action. You're directing energy. Because emotion burns fast. Strategy burns slow. The pause turns emotional heat into strategic light. That's the difference between panic and power. People think success is speed. No, success is timing. And timing is only possible through the pause. In every negotiation, every conflict, every challenge, the one who controls the timing controls the outcome. That's what you're mastering here, temporal control. You slow time down through focus. You stretch moments through mindfulness. You dominate outcomes through discipline. That's what the pause gives you, mental distance from chaos. 2 seconds of silence buys you hours of clarity. 2 seconds of restraint buys you days of peace. 2 seconds of control builds years of freedom. That's a trade worth making. You have to condition this into your reflex. Every time emotion spikes, say in your head, pause, wait, breathe. It's not about being passive. It's about being precise. Because sometimes the most powerful move is none at all. Silence can hit harder than any reaction. When you pause, you force others to reveal themselves. You let their emotion expose their weakness, while you stay centered, calm, immovable. That's composure as a weapon, stillness as strategy. The world expects chaos. Give them calm. The world expects noise. Give them silence. The world expects reaction. Give them reflection. That's how you win. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control what comes at you, but you can control how fast it enters your system. You can't control triggers, but you can choose timing. And that choice is everything. Because once you master the pause, chaos loses its power. You stop being a victim of emotion. You become an architect of outcome. And that's what separates the average from the extraordinary, the ability to hold composure while the world loses it. That's mastery in its purest form, calm dominance. You have a choice. Every conflict, every trigger, every storm, react or rise. Rise. Pause. Respond. Repeat. That's the discipline of control. That's the 2-second rule. You've mastered pause under emotion. Now it's time to master energy itself, to take the raw power of feeling and turn it into fuel for progress. Chapter 5. Emotion is energy. Learn to transmute it. You have a choice. To be consumed by emotion, or to convert it. That's the key. Emotion is not your enemy. Emotion is raw power, neutral until you direct it. Left uncontrolled, it destroys you. Controlled, it drives you. That's the truth no one teaches you. Most people try to suppress their emotions. They bottle them. They bury them. They pretend they're gone. But energy doesn't disappear, it moves. If you don't move it consciously, it will move you subconsciously. You can't fight energy. You can only transform it. You can only transmute it. That's what mastery looks like, turning emotion into motion. You have a choice. To let anger burn you down, or to let it light your way. To let fear freeze you, or to let it sharpen you. To let pain break you, or to let it build you. Emotion is energy. Energy obeys direction, and direction comes from discipline. That's the code. You can't stop emotions from coming, but you can decide where they go. You can assign meaning. You can assign movement. That's what makes you powerful, your ability to take what's chaotic and make it useful. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control that anger arrives, but you can control whether it turns into rage or resolve. You can't control that fear appears, but you can control whether it paralyzes or prepares you. You can't control that pain happens, but you can control whether it leaves scars or strength. That's emotional alchemy, the art of energy redirection. Let's break it down. 1. Anger intensity. Anger is the most misunderstood emotion. It's pure energy, a surge of alertness, of movement, of fight. Most people waste it on reaction. They lash out, they argue, they explode, and afterward they collapse. That's wasted energy. But if you pause, if you breathe, if you observe, you can convert anger into intensity, the fire that fuels execution. Anger says, something needs to change. Focus says, let's change it. Channel that emotion into output. Work harder. Train longer. Build faster. Turn that spike into momentum. That's how elite performers use anger. Not as destruction, but as direction. Repeat after me. I don't explode. I execute. That's your command. 2. Fear awareness. Fear is not weakness. It's information. It's your brain saying, pay attention. You can let it freeze you, or you can let it focus you. Most people panic when fear rises. They think fear means danger. But fear means direction, a signal pointing toward growth. Whatever you fear most often hides your next level. You have a choice, to avoid it or to analyze it. When you face fear consciously, it becomes awareness. It sharpens your senses. It increases preparation. Fear before action is anxiety. Fear during action is focus. Use it. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't stop fear from showing up, but you can stop it from taking over. You can feel fear without feeding it. You can let it remind you to prepare, to plan, to pay attention. That's how you turn fear into precision. Repeat after me. Fear sharpens me. It doesn't stop me. 3. Pain power. Pain is feedback. It's data from the system saying, there's work to do. The world has trained you to fear pain. But pain is proof of progress. No growth happens without friction. No muscle builds without resistance. No mind strengthens without challenge. You can run from it, or you can use it. The moment you stop fighting pain and start learning from it, you evolve. Pain teaches you discipline. Pain builds tolerance. Pain forges peace. Every scar carries code. It shows where you've been tested. It shows what you've survived. It reminds you that you're still here and stronger than before. You have a choice, to let pain define you or to let it design you. Don't escape it. Examine it. Extract the lesson. Then move. Repeat after me. Pain refines me. Pain reminds me. Pain reprograms me. That's your code. You see the pattern now. Emotion, awareness, redirection, strength. That's the transmutation process. You don't need to resist emotion. You need to reroute it. You don't need to delete feeling. You need to discipline it. Emotion is just energy asking for purpose. Give it one. If you don't, it will create its own, usually destructive. That's why emotional neutrality doesn't mean emptiness. It means energy under command. The weak suppress emotion and explode later. The strong channel emotion and expand forever. That's mastery. You're not escaping feeling, you're engineering it. You're not pretending you're calm. You're building calm deliberately through direction. That's the difference between repression and reprogramming. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control when emotion arrives, but you can control the path it travels. You can't control intensity, but you can control intent. You can't control chaos, but you can convert it into clarity. That's how energy works. It never dies. It just changes direction. You're the director now. You're the one assigning meaning, movement, and momentum. This is emotional engineering deliberate energy management. When you feel emotion, stop and ask, what can I build with this? Because that's what high performers do. They build with the energy most people waste. When they feel anger, they work. When they feel fear, they prepare. When they feel pain, they grow. Every emotion becomes a tool. Every feeling becomes fuel. You have that same power if you stop judging emotion and start using it. Emotion is not bad. Untrained emotion is. Your job is to train it, to build an internal system where every surge serves you. That's what reprogramming really means. It's not about deleting emotion. It's about assigning it to purpose. When you learn to do that, you stop being tossed by chaos and start directing energy like current. That's when neutrality is born, emotion present, but powerless to control you. You have a choice: to be an emotional reactor or an energetic architect. Be the architect. Be the one who directs everything that happens inside you. Because once you master energy, you master yourself. And once you master yourself, the world bends to your control. This is how focus becomes limitless, when emotion stops being the storm and starts being the fuel. You've learned to control your reaction. You've learned to pause under pressure. Now it's time to take this command and apply it to the system itself, to build the loop that keeps your focus running automatically. Chapter 6. Build the focus loop. You have a choice: to chase focus every day, or to build it once and make it permanent. That's the key. Most people treat focus like emotion: temporary, unpredictable, fragile. They wait for it to appear. But focus isn't found. Focus is formed. You don't wait for concentration. You create it through conditioning. And once you build it as a loop, automatic, repeatable, precise, it never leaves you. That's the focus loop. A system that runs your attention like software. Input, focus, output, reward, repeat. It's the code of high performance. Discipline automated. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control distractions in the world, but you can control how your brain prioritizes signals. You can't control motivation, but you can control momentum. That's what the focus loop does. It removes randomness. It makes focus predictable. Let's build it. Step 1. Control the input. Everything begins with input. You can't output focus from garbage data. Your attention is your operating system. Whatever enters it programs you. You have to curate what enters your mind like a soldier guard the gate. Every sound, every scroll, every sentence either strengthens your focus or steals it. Ask yourself daily, what am I feeding my brain? What is this making me think? Is this sharpening me or sedating me? That's the audit. You have a choice: to scroll for dopamine or to study for dominance. To fill your head with noise or with knowledge. Delete inputs that don't match your mission. Unfollow distraction. Mute chaos. Reduce randomness. Because random inputs create random outcomes. When your inputs align, your mind aligns. That's step 1. Step 2. Activate the focus trigger. Focus isn't an accident. It's a signal. You need a ritual that tells your brain, now we enter flow. It could be a sound, a phrase, a breath, a location. You repeat it every time you begin deep work. That repetition tells your nervous system to shift modes, from reactive to creative, from scattered to sharp. Your brain loves cues. Give it one. Before you start, say the same command every time. Focus mode on. Calm, clear, controlled, or simply begin. Simple works, because simplicity repeats. That's how you condition consistency. Same trigger, same response. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control motivation, but you can control initiation. And initiation creates momentum. That's what the trigger does. It removes the delay between intention and action. You don't wait to feel ready. You start, and starting creates state. That's the foundation of the focus loop. Step 3. Enter the flow window. Once you start, you must protect the first 20 minutes like sacred ground. That's the window where the brain transitions from shallow to deep focus. No notifications, no interruptions, no multitasking, just single-threaded execution. Flow is fragile. Every distraction resets it. Every interruption restarts the clock. You have to defend that window with your life, because it's the portal to power. The focus loop thrives on uninterrupted time blocks. You set them. You honor them. That's discipline. Focus on schedule. You're not hoping for deep work. You're scheduling it. You're building it into your day like a ritual. Same time, same place, same energy. Repetition programs permanence. Step 4. Reward the output. Discipline is not sustainable without reward. You must teach your brain that focus equals satisfaction. When you complete a task, take 10 seconds to acknowledge it. Breathe. Say it out loud. Done. That micro-reward tells the brain, this is good. Do it again. You're rewiring your dopamine system away from distraction and toward execution. That's how you make productivity addictive. Every task completed is a dopamine hit earned, not stolen. That's how you reverse the algorithm of addiction. From cheap stimulation to deep satisfaction. Repeat after me. I earn my dopamine. I feed my brain with completion, not distraction. That's your code. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the world's noise, but you can train your brain's reward system. You can make focus the new pleasure. That's mastery. Step 5. Repeat and reinforce. The loop completes itself through repetition. Every day you follow this sequence, the neural path strengthens. Your brain learns. When I start this ritual, focus follows. When I enter flow, reward arrives. When I complete, I feel peace. And that peace becomes your addiction. You no longer crave distraction because distraction feels wrong. Your brain stops chasing noise and starts chasing completion. That's when focus becomes automatic, not forced, not temporary, but trained. It's not motivation anymore. It's momentum. You've built the loop. Now it runs by itself. That's what mastery looks like. Automation through awareness. You have a choice. To live at random or to run a system. Systems win because systems don't feel, they execute. You want relentless focus? Stop relying on mood. Start relying on mechanism. Mechanism is repeatable. Mechanism doesn't care about emotion. Mechanism obeys command. That's why the focus loop works. It's mechanical, not motivational. Input, trigger, flow, reward, repeat. Every day, every task, every goal. That's the loop. When you live inside that system, life simplifies. There's no more wondering what to do. You already know. There's no more chasing productivity. It happens automatically because your brain has been conditioned to seek depth over distraction, precision over noise, calm over chaos. You've reprogrammed your attention. You now understand that focus is not intensity, it's alignment. It's your inner system working in one direction with zero leakage. You don't need to fight for focus anymore. You've engineered it. You have a choice, to run the loop once or to live in it forever. Repeat the command. Input clarity, output precision, reward discipline. That's your loop. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control what comes into the world, but you can filter what enters your mind. You can't control when distractions appear, but you can decide not to feed them. You can't control chaos, but you can control continuity. That's the focus loop, the invisible system that separates those who drift from those who dominate. You've built structure. You've built rhythm. Now it's time to maintain that system through silence. The mental defragmentation that keeps your operating system clean. Chapter 7. Silence is software. You have a choice. To keep feeding noise, or to start feeding clarity. That's the key. Your brain is not designed for constant input. It's designed for cycles, focus and reset, action and silence. Noise fills, silence cleans, and most people never clean their minds. They just keep downloading, scrolling, reacting until their system crashes. That's why they're overwhelmed. Not because they're weak, but because their mental RAM is full. You can't operate at a high level with corrupted code. You have to clear it. That's what silence does. Silence is not empty. Silence is maintenance. It's how you defragment your brain. It's how you optimize performance. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the noise outside, but you can control how often you enter silence inside. Silence is your reboot, your reset, your secret weapon in a world addicted to sound. The most powerful people you'll ever meet all share one trait. They schedule silence. They step away to think. They pause to plan. They disconnect to decide. Because clarity requires space. You can't see the pattern if you're standing in the chaos. You have to zoom out. Silence gives you that altitude. You have a choice every day. Consume or calibrate. React or reset. If you don't build silence, you'll break from noise. That's not philosophy. It's neuroscience. Your brain has a process called default mode. It activates when you're not doing anything, when you're quiet, still, present. That's when it processes information, stores memory, and connects ideas. That's where insight lives, in silence. You think you're wasting time being still? You're not. You're compiling code. Every moment of silence is your brain reorganizing chaos into clarity. That's what high performers understand. Rest is not retreat. It's reprogramming. You have to start treating silence like software, a tool, not a luxury. That's how you keep your mind clean, creative, and controlled. 1. Schedule the reset. You can't wait for silence to happen. You have to install it like a program. Every day, 30 minutes minimum. No noise, no screens, no input, just stillness. Sit, breathe, observe. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable because silence reveals everything you've been avoiding. Thoughts, emotions, regrets, fears. But that's the cleaning process. When you stop running from your mind, it finally has the chance to organize itself. Don't judge the noise. Just let it play. Silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the discipline of listening. Listen until it clears. That's your mental maintenance routine. You don't skip it because you're busy. You protect it because you're serious. That's how you separate amateurs from professionals. Amateurs run nonstop. Professionals reset deliberately. Repeat after me. Silence is part of the system. 2. Use silence as signal. Every time you feel overwhelmed, step away. That's your system's signal. When focus starts fragmenting, when your emotions rise, when noise takes over, you don't push harder. You pause deeper, because silence restores precision. It's the only environment where clarity survives. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control how loud life gets, but you can create internal quiet. Close your eyes. Slow your breath. Drop your attention from thoughts in a body. That's how you reboot. 10 seconds. 10 breaths. Total reset. You can do this anywhere, at work, in conflict, in chaos. Silence isn't always external. It's internal awareness amid noise. When you enter it, your energy changes instantly. You stop reacting. You start directing. That's what silence does. It recenters the operator inside the machine. 3. Protect the frequency. Silence has a frequency. Calm, grounded, stable. You have to guard it like it's sacred. Don't let everyone and everything tune into it. Not every conversation deserves your voice. Not every event deserves your presence. Not every emotion deserves your response. That's selective silence. It's the discipline of conserving energy for what matters. You're not being cold. You're being consistent. Because silence amplifies what's real. It exposes truth. It filters noise. It reminds you what's actually worth your energy. The world will call you distant. Let them. Distance creates distinction, and distinction creates peace. You have to stop explaining your silence to people who live in chaos. They won't understand it. They'll interpret it as absence, but it's presence, just not for them. You're not avoiding connection. You're cultivating direction. Repeat after me. I don't need to speak to prove presence. My silence is strength. My calm is command. That's your code now. Silence is your software. It cleans the clutter. It refines the signal. It resets the system. You don't need to fill every moment. You need to feel every moment, because that's where awareness grows, between thoughts, between actions, between breaths. That's where mental stillness becomes clarity. And clarity is what allows you to execute ruthlessly and rest deeply. You can't sustain high performance without quiet maintenance. You can't operate in chaos without clean systems. Silence isn't a break from the work. It's part of the work. You have a choice: to live as noise or to operate as signal. Noise is reactive. Signal is intentional. Noise shouts for attention. Signal speaks only when needed. Be signal. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't stop the world's noise, but you can train your brain to remain silent within it. That's internal peace, not given, but built. When silence becomes part of your software, chaos stops being a threat. It becomes a test you're already prepared for. Because silence resets emotion, restores focus, and rebalances energy. That's what separates burnout from brilliance. The ability to recharge in stillness. You've learned to master your focus loop. Now you've learned to maintain it. You've built the system. You've cleaned the code. Now it's time to test it, to step into the noise, the chaos, the uncertainty, and remain completely neutral. Chapter 8. Chaos is a test, not a threat. You have a choice: to fear chaos or to face it. That's the key. Chaos doesn't destroy you. It exposes you. It shows you where your control ends and where your training begins. Most people crumble in chaos because they never train for it. They expect life to be calm, predictable, fair. It never is. The world isn't built for comfort. It's built for calibration. Every challenge is a mirror. It reflects your focus. It tests your neutrality. It reveals your programming. When chaos hits, your system runs its default code. And that's how you know if you've reprogrammed or not. Do you panic? Or do you pause? Do you react? Or do you respond? That's the test. You have a choice: to see chaos as a signal to quit or as a signal to grow. Because chaos is feedback. It's not here to break you. It's here to train you. Every time you hold your calm under pressure, you upgrade your system. Every time you stay neutral in noise, you expand your capacity. Every time you act from focus instead of fear, you rewire your brain. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control chaos. You can only control command. You can't stop the storm. You can only become the eye within it. That's mastery. Calm in movement, peace in pressure. 1. Reframe the chaos. Most people see chaos as loss of control. But chaos is just change, faster than you expected. It's not the end. It's a test. A signal that your system is evolving. You built mental discipline for a reason. This is where it activates. Silence. Focus. Detachment. All those skills were not meant for comfort. They were meant for crisis. Chaos is where your tools are tested. When everything is uncertain, your programming becomes your protection. So don't run from the storm. Observe it. Use it. Let it teach you. Because chaos doesn't destroy structure. It exposes weak ones. It's not an attack. It's an assessment. You have a choice: to collapse from pressure, or to calibrate under it. 2. Hold the center. In chaos, your most valuable skill is stillness. Not physical stillness, mental stillness. When everything around you moves fast, you slow down internally. That's how you lead yourself. Stillness is not an action. Stillness is precision under speed. The soldier under fire doesn't panic. He breathes. He acts from training, not emotion. He's calm, not because he's fearless, but because he's focused. That's what chaos demands. The ability to hold your center when the world spins. You control your breathing. You control your focus. You control your words. Everything else, let it move. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't stop the noise, but you can choose not to become it. You can't stop the tension, but you can choose how you transmit it. Be the calm frequency that resets the room. Because chaos is contagious, but so is calm. If you hold it, others will feel it. That's real leadership. The ability to bring stability just by existing in control. 3. Use chaos as a simulator. Chaos is not random. It's reality condensed. It's training at full speed. Every disruption is a simulation, preparing you for the next level of complexity. When systems are tested under stress, they reveal weaknesses. That's good. You need to know what breaks before it matters. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this training me for?" That's how professionals think. They treat every breakdown as data, every failure as feedback, because they understand pressure isn't punishment. It's proof you're growing. Every challenge is a stress test for your structure. It's your brain saying, "Let's see how strong the new code really is." The chaos is your exam. You studied for this. Now execute. You don't fight the storm. You function within it. That's composure. That's command. You have a choice: to resist chaos or to render harmless. 4. The calm response protocol. Here's how you use chaos. When pressure spikes, execute this 4-step sequence. 1. Pause. Breathe. Give yourself one full breath before any action. 2. Observe. Ask what's real, what's emotional. Separate data from drama. 3. Decide. Pick the one controllable action that moves the needle. 4. Execute. Move with calm intensity. No noise, no hesitation. That's the calm response protocol. It turns chaos into choreography. The moment you use it, chaos loses its grip. Because action through awareness replaces reaction through emotion. You're no longer playing defense. You're directing the field. That's the mark of someone who's mentally reprogrammed. They don't escape chaos. They use it. You have to stop expecting calm. Start expecting challenge. That's how you harden your focus. Most people crumble because they train only in comfort. You're different. You train in tension. You don't avoid pressure. You increase it on purpose. You simulate chaos so real chaos feels familiar. That's how elite minds are built, through exposure and repetition. Every stressful situation is an opportunity to install the code of calm. Repeat after me. Chaos strengthens me. Pressure clarifies me. Stress trains me. That's your creed now. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the storm's speed, but you can control your stance. You can't control the noise's volume, but you can control your voice. You can't control the timeline, but you can control your timing. That's mental dominance, precision inside unpredictability. The most stable minds don't need stability. They create it. That's your job now, to build internal peace so strong that no amount of external chaos can shake it. Because the world will always be loud, unstable, unpredictable. You can't wait for it to calm down. You have to become calm within it. That's the lesson of chaos. You don't conquer it by control. You conquer it by composure. You have a choice: to panic with the crowd or to plan through the storm, to feed chaos or to filter it. Choose filter. Choose calm. Choose clarity. Because chaos is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's your test. And every time you pass it, your mind becomes harder to shake, faster to recover, stronger to lead. That's how resilience is built. Not in peace, but in pressure. You've learned to pause. You've learned to focus. You've learned to remain calm in motion. Now it's time to take control over the one force that defines success or collapse: discipline. Because even in chaos, discipline decides who keeps moving. Chapter 9. The Discipline Override. You have a choice: to live by feeling or to operate by command. That's the key. Discipline is the override, the system that runs when emotion crashes. Most people rely on mood to move. They wait for energy. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect moment. And that's why they stay stuck. Because waiting is a form of weakness. The disciplined don't wait. They execute, whether they feel like it or not. That's the difference between the emotional and the effective. One moves when it's convenient. The other moves because it's commanded. You have to stop depending on your feelings to determine your function. Your brain will always look for comfort. Your body will always resist effort. Your emotions will always negotiate with your goals. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. It gives instruction. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control motivation. You can control movement. You can't control feeling ready. You can control showing up. You can't control inspiration. You can control execution. That's the override. When emotion says stop, discipline says continue. When distraction says later, discipline says now. When fatigue says rest, discipline says one more. That's how systems are built. That's how excellence is maintained. Because discipline is the code that runs beneath everything. It's the foundation that doesn't fail. When motivation disappears, discipline remains. When chaos rises, discipline holds. When emotion burns out, discipline still executes. That's what makes it power. 1. Command over condition. The undisciplined move by condition. If I feel good, I'll work. If the timing's right, I'll start. If I'm inspired, I'll act. But inspiration is unreliable. Emotion is unstable. Discipline is constant. That's why the disciplined rise while others rest. You can't control your emotional weather, but you can control your operational schedule. You show up regardless. You execute regardless. You finish regardless. That's mental reprogramming, replacing condition with command. Because discipline doesn't care about comfort. It cares about completion. Repeat after me. I don't wait for mood. I move on mission. I don't need to feel it. I just do it. I don't negotiate with weakness. That's your code. 2. Build the override system. Discipline is not a feeling. It's a framework. You build it like software, line by line, habit by habit. Every morning you repeat the same command. Every day you run the same protocol. Wake, move, focus, execute. No variation. No excuses. No debate. Because every debate is delay. And delay is death to consistency. You don't ask yourself, do I want to? You ask, what's next in the system? That's the discipline override. Removing decision fatigue through preloaded action. You automate the hard parts. You simplify the process. You make the right choice the easy one. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control how motivated you feel, but you can control the system that carries you when you don't. When emotion fades, your structure remains. When distraction tempts, your system protects. Because discipline is not about strength, it's about structure. Weak minds rely on willpower. Strong minds rely on systems. 3. Detach from excuses. Excuses are emotional stories disguised as logic. They sound smart. They feel justified, but they always lead to decay. I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I need a break. Each one chips away at your credibility with yourself. The moment you start believing your excuses, you delete your integrity. The disciplined don't entertain those stories. They hear the emotion and execute anyway. Because excuses are optional, execution is mandatory. You have a choice: to listen to the voice that limits you or the voice that leads you. Every day, both speak. Only one deserves your obedience. Repeat after me. I don't need an excuse. I need execution. I don't chase comfort. I chase control. I don't need their permission. I've already decided. That's the override protocol. 4. Redefine discipline. Discipline isn't punishment. It's protection. It's not about restriction. It's about direction. It's the safeguard that keeps your potential from being wasted. When you understand that, discipline stops feeling heavy. It starts feeling sacred. You don't resent it. You respect it. Because every act of discipline is an act of self-respect. Every repetition is a reminder of who's in control. You, not your emotions. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control life's volatility, but you can control your constancy. You can't control their chaos, but you can control your code. You can't control when it's easy, but you can control showing up regardless. That's discipline, the commitment that survives conditions. 5. Train the override through pressure. You don't build discipline in comfort. You build it in fatigue, frustration, and failure. That's where the override is forged. When your body says stop and your mind whispers continue, you listen to command, not comfort. Every rep after you want to quit is reprogramming your system. Every task finished under fatigue teaches your mind to obey your mission, not your mood. You don't grow by doing what's easy. You grow by doing what's essential, especially when it's hard. You have a choice: to give in to emotion or to give orders to it. The disciplined mind gives orders. That's what separates the driven from the drifting. Command. You don't need to feel inspired to be unstoppable. You need to obey your own standards when it's inconvenient. That's the override. Discipline isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's unshakable. It doesn't shout. It shows. Discipline is you, showing up when no one watches, repeating when no one claps, building when no one believes. Because the disciplined don't need external validation. They run on internal verification. That's power. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control when emotion comes, but you can control whether it commands you. You can't control fatigue, but you can control consistency. You can't control outcome, but you can control effort, and effort compounds. Every time you override emotion, your system gets stronger. Every time you obey discipline, your mind becomes sharper. You're not trying to be perfect. You're training to be automatic. That's how mastery feels. Effortless execution through endless repetition. That's the discipline override, the code that runs when everything else fails. Chapter 10. The mentally neutral mind. You have a choice: to live in reaction or to live in rhythm. That's the key. The mentally neutral mind isn't cold. It's controlled. It's not passive. It's precise. It's the highest form of mastery, not needing to fight emotion because you've already transcended it. This is where focus becomes flow, where discipline becomes nature, where silence becomes strength. It's not about being robotic. It's about being regulated. Because when your emotions, focus, and energy obey your command, you stop chasing control. You are control. That's the mentally neutral mind. 1. From emotion to equilibrium. The world tells you to feel everything. But the wise know, not every feeling deserves attention. Emotion is data, not direction. It informs, but it doesn't instruct. You can feel without following. You can sense without surrendering. That's equilibrium. That's what neutrality means. Emotion present, but powerless. You don't suppress it. You observe it. You let it pass. Like clouds through the sky, feelings appear and move on. You're not the storm. You're the space behind it. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't stop thoughts from appearing, but you can stop reacting to them. You can't stop emotions from rising, but you can stop merging with them. That's mental separation, awareness without absorption. It's not about indifference. It's about direction. You decide which emotions become energy and which dissolve. That's sovereignty. Repeat after me. I am aware, not attached. I am calm, not cold. I am centered, not numb. That's your code now. 2. Beyond reaction. Operating from stillness. Most people live at the mercy of triggers. They react. They spiral. They collapse. But the neutral mind doesn't react. It responds. Because stillness is its default setting. Every action is chosen. Every word is weighted. Every thought is filtered through clarity. That's not slowness. That's precision. The mentally neutral mind is not busy. It's efficient. It wastes nothing. No energy. No emotion. No time. It moves like water, adapting, flowing, powerful without force. That's what makes it unstoppable. You have a choice. To live from noise or for neutrality. Noise drains. Neutrality sustains. Because neutrality is energy in balance. No highs, no lows, just presence. And presence is where execution happens. When you're neutral, you don't need to force outcomes. You align with them. You make the right decision naturally, without internal resistance. That's what mastery feels like: quiet certainty. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control how fast life moves, but you can control your internal tempo. Slow is smooth. Smooth becomes fast. That's the paradox of neutrality, calm speed. 3. Neutral different weak. People will misunderstand you. They'll say you're distant, unemotional, detached. They won't see the strength it takes to remain stable in chaos. But neutrality is not withdrawal. It's weaponized peace. The neutral mind doesn't swing between extremes. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't chase control, because it already owns it. The weak mind needs constant motion to feel alive. The neutral mind is alive through clarity. It doesn't overreact. It doesn't overexplain. It doesn't overinvest in noise. It saves energy for precision. You have to stop trying to be understood by those addicted to chaos. You're not meant to match their frequency. You're meant to rise above it. Repeat after me. My peace is not negotiable. My calm is my command. My neutrality is my power. That's your evolution. 4. How to train neutrality. Neutrality doesn't appear. It's built. You train it through exposure and recovery. You expose your mind to pressure. You recover through silence. You repeat until stillness becomes automatic. That's how you stabilize emotion under intensity. Meditate daily. Reflect nightly. Detach hourly. Those are your drills. When something triggers you, pause. When something offends you, observe. When something pulls you, breathe. That's how you reprogram instinct into intention. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control what enters your mind, but you can control what stays there. You can't control emotions' arrival, but you can control its duration. You can't control outcomes, but you can control composure. That's mental neutrality, composure by choice. The mind learns by repetition. Every time you respond calmly under pressure, you reinforce the code. We don't react. We regulate. Every repetition strengthens the loop until neutrality becomes reflex. That's not coldness. That's control. 5. The power of nothing. The mentally neutral mind knows the value of doing nothing. Not as avoidance, as awareness. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all, because action from imbalance creates more imbalance. So you wait. You watch. You let timing align. Patience is not passivity. It's precision delayed. The neutral mind doesn't rush. It reads the field. It strikes when probability peaks. That's how it wins consistently. Because mastery isn't about doing more, it's about doing right. You have a choice: to live in reaction and chaos, or to rise into rhythm and clarity. Choose rhythm. You've earned it. When your mind becomes neutral, life simplifies. Emotion stops steering you. Noise stops distracting you. Failure stops defining you. You act because it's right, not because it feels right. You rest because it's time, not because you're tired. You speak because it's needed, not because it's noisy. That's balance. You're no longer chasing control. You are control. You're no longer reacting to chaos. You're composing within it. That's what true peace feels like. Power without panic. You have a choice. Every day, every thought, every storm. React or rise. Feed chaos or build calm. Be noise or become signal. You've chosen mastery. You built the code. You've become the system. Control what you control. Let go of what you don't. You can't control the world, but you can command yourself. And when you command yourself, the world adjusts. That's the mentally neutral mind. Unshakable, unstoppable, and unwavering. This is your final evolution. No longer chasing emotion, no longer reacting to life, but directing it through calm precision. Closing transition. You've built focus. You've trained attachment. You've mastered emotion, energy, and execution. Now it's time to bring it all together. Because neutrality without direction is wasted potential. And discipline without purpose is empty repetition. The final step is alignment, connecting your internal power to your external purpose. Final chapter: alignment, power with purpose. Let's finish this. Let's link your discipline, silence, and mental neutrality to the mission that actually matters, the reason you wake up and the legacy you build.